board and the town manager.
Okay,
agreed to give them
and
3%.
we are on. This is the budget board meeting for April 4. We have a quorum of 11. We have one person missing. I believe, Jen, you're going to be taking the count, are you, for the, okay. Thank you, so we have a legitimate count of the vote. Before we start this evening, I would like to announce to everyone, for those of you who don't know, yesterday, Leo Martin passed away. His services will be, the calling hours will be held at Bibber's Memorial Chapel in Kennebunk from 2 to 4 on Saturday, and at 2 o'clock on Sunday, there will be a service at the South Congregational Church. Most of us know Leo from a long time. He was, over 20 years between assistant and superintendent of SAD 71. He was on the budget board as chair for many, many years. Served as commissioner of education in the state of Maine for several years, and was a very active volunteer in many areas. He will be missed.
A remarkable man.
Remarkable is right.
Yeah. So, having said that, we'll begin. Laurie, are you going to start us off, or are we ready to go?
I just would confirm with you that you have the spreadsheet in front of you that has the fiscal year 2019 budget, the proposed budget for 20, and the Board of Selectmen votes.
We do.
And the solid waste sheet that we sent you out, as well as you'll remember from the last conversation with the Board of Selectmen, I was looking for some direction. I think that what I heard from the board was that they thought that having curbside recycling did not make sense, but that they were open to other options in terms of recycling and involving the Solid Waste Committee in developing those. We have started conversations with an abutting community about whether or not we could partner with them on recycling. We can also look at other ways to approach recycling. So I highlighted the numbers that changed from the original budget proposal to the second one. The tipping fees increased because we increased the tonnage that would potentially go, as you'll remember from Mike Claus's last slides. It's a small percentage of what we're collecting that actually is able to be recycled, about 25%. So we did increase tipping fees. We decrease the recycling processing amount, because if we're not going that route with EcoMaine, we would need to pay a processing fee. And we removed the recycling curbside every other week number. We did put in a recycle contingency number of $40,000. I think $40,000 gives us enough leeway to come up with some other innovative ways to deal with recycling without hamstringing us, but there is no magic, I would say, behind that $40,000 number. Like, this is the plan to spend the $40,000. It's more about what we might need to develop some additional plans. So I didn't know if you had any questions on that.
No.
If not, that's all I have.
Okay. Then, with that, I believe we're ready to begin. So I would ask for a motion to approve the administration budget at $1,001,725.
Motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Ted?
Yeah, I wonder if I could make a motion to approve all the budgets.
No.
No.
No, I think there's some discussion on some items, Ted.
Yes.
Well, that would come up after the
I
motion
know.
is put on the table.
I don't think that it will take that long to.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
No discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No abstentions? 11 to nothing. Motion for the Zoning Board of Appeals for $500.
I'll move it.
So moved.
Discussion? None? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions. Conservation Commission
So moved.
at $1,350. Any
moved.
discussion? Moved and seconded. In favor? Opposed? No abstentions. The Growth Planning Committee, in the amount of $5,000.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Any discussion first? No discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? And no abstentions. Motion for the legal fees at $93,000.
So moved.
Any discussion? In favor? Opposed? No abstentions. Approved. The insurance at $268,142.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? In favor? Opposed? Abstentions? None. Approved. The community development at $29,495.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Approve? Against? No abstentions? Approved. The planning and development at $447,171.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor?
I abstain.
Opposed? One abstention. Pardon? One abstention. The police department for $1,768,839.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions. Approved at $1,768,839. The communications, $531,938.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions. Approved. The fire department, $417,258.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those approving? Opposed? And no abstention. Approved. Chems at $155,000.
Madam Moderator, I would like to,
Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second, okay.
I
Dan, you're
would
up.
like to have that money changed to the original request from Chems. I think it's money well spent for an extra $20,000. If you figure that it would add something on the order of a nickel at the most for a $500,000 valued property, as far as their taxes is concerned, I think that's money well spent, so that Chems does not have to dig in more to its accounts and reserve. And today was a perfect example. If you were at Bradbury's when the fellow went off his bicycle, he's now in Maiden Med Center. You don't want to have to mess around, in my opinion, having to wait for somebody to come from somewhere else or to you know, we're all getting older. And we're gonna need the ambulance more and more, probably. I'd like to see the money raised to the $175,000 as opposed to the $155,000.
So you're asking to amend the
Amend the motion.
amend the motion.
Danny, I can understand where you're coming from, but I've gone through a lot of the detail on the application, and I'm not comfortable with approving that amount of an increase for several reasons. One, the information that was presented doesn't really give me any feeling about what happened from fiscal year 2019 to what they're requesting for fiscal year 2020. For example, they talk about the endowment, and what I don't know is they're saying that it would have to withdraw $43,520 from the endowment to meet their budget. Is that reducing the endowment? How much? I mean, the endowment obviously is earning some money every year,
Correct.
and is the amount that they're earning offsetting that $43,000? or-
I wish Joe or Jim were here. I cannot answer that specifically. I know that part of the problem is that Medicare has reduced to 38% the cost of reimbursement. Well, I've forgotten, I had the numbers and I should have brought them, we have not, or CHEMS has not been able to bill, which is in the 300 and some odd thousand. And it's getting tougher and tougher, particularly when a new ambulance will be coming up in about a year and a half. And that's pushing $250,000 by the time you buy it. And that's gonna have to come out of the endowment. And I just think that $20,000 is a minimal amount of money to keep the operation going at a high level without having to dig into the endowment.
Well, the other question I had was they've implemented this new subscription and revenue program.
Correct.
And Jim said at the last presentation, or whenever it was made 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
that they've already gotten $20,000 of signups for that, which he's accounted for here. And that's only about 6 weeks after they introduced the program.
right.
And I would expect that other people might be signing up for that, and that $20,000
I hope so.
may be hopefully more.
Yeah.
And the other thing that bothers me, the gifts and donation of $40,000, it would have helped if I'd known what that was in the past. And there's no data there that tell me, is that asking for more?
It's roughly the same. I don't remember the numbers, but it's roughly the same.
Well, those were the concerns I had
Yeah.
about why
Legit.
it would be necessary to add that $20,000.
Ted, you wish to?
Yes, what is the current size of the endowment?
Again, I wish I had Jim or Joe here. I do not know the numbers like those two do. And so therefore, I really don't want to.
Well,
open
would
my
you
mouth.
guess it's like 200,000 or 2
It's
million?
more- It's, oh no, it's no 2 million. Wish it was. Years ago, when we were working on, when I was in part of working on the numbers, we figured that it would take about a $10 million endowment to pay for the operation of CHEMS out of the monies that came in off a roughly $10 million endowment. What has changed in that whole scheme of things, I don't know.
I guess I've always felt like we've gotten tremendous value from all our public safety departments. We really
Yes.
have, and for CHEMS or any of the others to actually have to do what they do for our community and then go out and try to raise money on top of it, or to draw from their endowment funds, I have a problem with that. I support what you're saying, Dan.
I mean, if you look at what the town spends on police, which is full-time, more officers on, and what have you. The same way with the fire, which is basically all volunteers for all practical purposes, versus Chems, which is at least one paid 24-hour-a-day paramedic. If you figure it on a sort of 3,500 population versus the monies that we spend on the other two, plus the communications, Chems is, you know, not
value.
pretty damn well. to
Well,
give-
they all are.
Yeah.
We get,
Oh,
we get
absolutely.
a huge service from all of them,
Absolutely.
but I understand where you're coming from.
Why, Dan, do you think Jim didn't make more of a point of this when he made his presentation? I mean, he
You would
didn't.
have to ask Jim, I don't know. I think,
I mean, that would have been the time to answer questions that we might have had about how can we justify it, and
I thought Joe did a pretty decent job of trying to do it in his own way. He knows the numbers, I don't. He knows them to the nickel, and I don't. And I'm not sure why the Board of Selectmen and the town manager chose not to go along with their request. And maybe Lori can.
I was gonna ask.
Laurie?
CAM certainly provides a valuable service to this community. As many things in this community have changed, CAM's has had to change along with that. And so their budget has increased dramatically in order to keep up with the labor costs that they must incur. This was, as I told you in my budget presentation, a very challenging budget. And if you'll remember, there were a number of things that I thought were worthy that I did not include in this budget. They were the accreditation with the police department, they were issues with our facilities, and they were also wages for firefighters. As you'll remember from the chief's presentation, we have a low rate of interior qualified firefighters, and when he analyzed how many were able to respond at a needed fire, you know, we were around the 60% rate. So we had some real challenges in delivering our primary services, and yet I did not fund those things. I met with Chems twice on their budget and talked to them about these challenges. At the end of the day, Chems is a separate, private, nonprofit organization that is run by a separate board of directors. When they make decisions about salaries or other expenses, they don't come before the town or myself and ask how those might be best implemented to incorporate them into our other needs. So they make decisions, they bring me the end number that they need. I did discuss that with them, and what I came back with was a 3% increase, so 5,000 more. Last year, they originally came in with a $200,000 budget number. And so this is not the first year that we have worked through these numbers, trying to get to that balance of what we think is affordable and all the needs of the town. I think the selectmen also were trying to balance that as well. But it's not because Chems isn't doing valuable work or that they're not a needed service. And I believe their endowment is about $1.4 million.
Laurie, may I ask a question? You mentioned that Chems is a private organization and is not responsible to the town in the sense of coming to the selectmen for their expenditures and their wages and so forth. Is the same true of Graves Library?
Yeah, the same is true of Graves Library. And you can see that Graves had a 3% increase this year as well.
No, I was just wondering if
Yeah,
the same
absolutely.
background.
Yeah, and we've had those same conversations with Graves.
Any further discussion? Dan? Okay, I have an amendment.
I'll second
Thank you. To raise the issue to $175,000 for Chems. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the amendment to 175,000? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I count 7? I'm sorry, I can't.
I counted 6.
6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I didn't count you.
You didn't count? Yeah, that's because I'm waving around you. Okay. Okay, any opposed? There are 4 opposed, so that would come out to the 11, and no abstentions. Money is raised to 175,000 for chems.
Thank you, everybody.
The emergency management at $1,500. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. The animal control, $15,376.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? None. Approved at $15,376. The Harbor Master, $38,838. Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Discussion? None. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Approved at $38,838. Solid Waste, $488,242.
So
Motion.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the solid waste? All those in favor? Opposed?
Just wish us luck.
And no abstentions. Approved at $48,242. Health Department, $187,811.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All those approved? Opposed? And no abstentions. Approved at $187,811. Welfare, $3,335.
So
Motion.
moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Ridiculous number.
Opposed?
About other towns.
And no abstentions. Approved at $3,335. Social Services, $22,400.
So
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstention. Approved at $22,400. Shellfish, $3,671. A motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, and no abstentions. The public restrooms, $32,500.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Oops, no.
All those in favor? He's jumping up. Opposed? And no abstention. Approved at 32.5. The Highway Department, $9,760, $976,267.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Approved at $976,267. And the mechanic has none this year because it has been, as we've previously discussed, it was wrapped into the Highway Department. Utilities, $192,790. A motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstention. Approved at $192,790. The Shade Tree Committee, $42,123.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions. Approved at $42,123. The Cemetery Committee, $14,513.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Any discussion? Nope. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Approved at $14,513. The Recreation Department, $283,002.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? None? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions. Approved at $283,002. Graves Library, $155,000.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions? Approved at $155,000. The Cape Porpoise Library, $13,950.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No abstention? Approved at $13,950. The Parsons Way Committee, $4,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstention? Approved at $4,000. The Goose Rocks Beach Advisory Committee, $44,000.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No abstentions? Approved at $44,000. The Contingency Fund, $65,000.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstention? Approved at $65,000. The miscellaneous account, $10,668.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No abstention? Approved at $10,668. Debt service, $627,662.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? None. Approved at $627,662. Capital outlay. The administration account, $130,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions? Approved at $130,000. The police capital outlay at $30,000.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions? Approved at $30,000. The fire reserve, $188,500.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No abstentions? Approved at $188,500. Highway, $6,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstention? Approved at $6,000. The road improvement, $587,600.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions? Approved at $587,600. Sidewalk construction, $90,000.
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstentions? Approved at $90,000. The Recreation Department for outlay, capital outlay, $2,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No abstentions? Approved at $2,000. Revaluation, $67,000.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And no abstention? Approved at $67,000. And Piers for $200,000.
So moved.
So move.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No abstentions? Approved at $200,000. Brings the expense totals to, what do? We added something here, right? We added 20,000, so it would be 9,263,166. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. The overlay,
You don't have to.
I don't have to. Good.
You're done.
We're done.
So the next steps in the process is I need the budget board back next week.
Next week, okay?
So at the regular selectmen's meeting, there will be a discussion on any articles that you disagree to try and get to resolution. And we'll also have the warrant. So remember that the warrant combines some of these individual categories. So we need a vote on that actual warrant article to put Budget Committee recommends the total of whatever those are. So it's just a reconfiguration of what you voted tonight, fewer numbers. But I need your vote on that because then Tracy can finalize that and the selectmen can sign it on the 25th, which would be their last opportunity to sign the warrant.
You just said it would be what we decided tonight. But isn't it what the selectmen decide based on our decision?
Well, you will discuss that difference, but also there is, in the warrant, it says Budget Committee recommends. So we need an amount that the Budget Committee recommends for the warrant article itself.
And what time do you expect us?
6 p.m.
Thank you.
So Tracy is out this week. She'll be back on Monday. She'll find out, welcome back, it's time to put the warrant together. And so I'd like to think we'll email you out the warrant, but we'll have copies for you on Thursday night.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay,
Any oth- Is there
Lori?
any other discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish it.
No, I was just, is there any other discussion?
Oh, yeah, looking at what RSU 21 has presented so far as a school budget, it's a little bit higher than what you've got here. And I wonder if, as we move forward and you put out an estimated commitment sheet, that you want to update that.
We'll have another one. We just, I asked the county and school this past week, I think, where they were in the process, and they sent me some information. So we'll work at putting that in the commitment sheet, and we'll bring you a new copy next week.
Okay.
The school was up considerably more than we had estimated.
So we will, there is no other discussion. We will be reconvening next Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Thank you all. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Is there any approval?
All in favor?
Oh, all in
put up
favor.
both hands?
Okay. And it's a wrap. We are off.
I won't either, she's gonna kill me. I'm going